Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Before I get started, I want to sit there and just thank every person who gave me well wishes on my birthday, um today, who was on the stream on Sunday. It was an amazing time. I'm feeling a lot better. It was an amazing time on Sunday, even though I was under the weather. I had the best time. So I want to thank everyone for making that possible and just just really making it a good stream. So even though I wasn't reviewing anything yesterday, I did watch General Hospital, and that episode was ass. Okay, I'm not even gonna sit there and try to sugarcoat it. It was the definition of a filler, and I'm just, as I'm watching this whole thing, I'm like, I literally sat there, and part of me was like, I'm kind of glad that I didn't sit there and review it yesterday because I looked at that episode and was like, what am I even going to talk about? Oh God. Now today's episode was a mixed bag. Okay? I am I am so done with this Willow storyline. I'm so done. I am so done. I literally said that if Willow did not tell Michael in this episode, whatever happens moving forward, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be some sad scenes. But I'm just like, I clocked out. I don't care anymore. Now she's just, now I'm not gonna sit there and tell him to after, the second trimester, and it's like, God damn, woman, like seriously, we're just why at this point? Why are we doing this? Why? This is so. Okay. I. Talk about this Michael and Sonny scene because Michael acted like a dick in the scene. Okay, but I'm like, Sonny, what are you doing going to the house? The picnic is outside. Michael's like, well, what are you doing here? You do realize that before you turned into whatever version this is. Sonny is a very large contributor to GH as far as the wing and everything like that goes. So when you're asking questions like, what are you doing here? It's a fundraiser. And I'm also just like, Sonny, what are you doing in the house? Okay, the fundraising is in the house is outside. Take your ass outside. What are you doing? Anyway, this whole thing was set up to, because there was a point that Willow was going to sit there and tell Michael. The minute I saw Sonny, I was like, mother. And of course, it didn't help when they started talking. And, Michael was, Sonny was like, well, I'm not bringing Nina because, I don't need y'all to be sitting there disrespecting. Michael was like, you mean the way that she practically disrespected our family? I'm like, okay, Michael, you got a point. You got a point, not gonna lie. But then he slams the door in Sonny's face. And Sonny walks in like, yo, if you ever do that again. I was like, I was like, okay, all right, cool. This woke me up. Okay, this woke me up. And of course, Willow calmed down the situation. Sonny was like, all right, whatever, just have a great time. Um, and of course, at that point, Willow didn't sit there and tell him the truth because, at this point, does anyone really care? Does anyone really care at this point? And from the rumors that I'm hearing, is that they're gonna sit there and kill off Willow, and I'm just like, why? Like, is it? I mean, is it her choice to leave? Like, what is? The same thing that I said about Days when I was like, you're having all these characters just leaving all at once. It's not a good sign. Now, granted, it hasn't been like that with GH, but when it starts going and going and going and going, and people are just leaving, it's not a good sign. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. It's not a good sign. Um. Anyway, she meets up with Terry, and she's all like, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell him the truth because reasons that really doesn't make any sense." But she feels this is the best course of action, so I'm just like, why not? I'm just gonna move on because I'm. Hmm. Marshall and Jordan finally meet up because, well, at some point they were gonna have to meet up. So they meet up, and Jordan's like, I'm sorry what happened with me and Tommy and everything like that years ago, and he was like, wow, I didn't really have a lot of good words for you back then, and I'm like, in some ways that kind of pissed me off because on one hand, yeah, I get it, that's his son, and what she did to him wasn't right. Okay, I'm like, girl, you chose to leave him when he was like 9 or 8, and you didn't come back into his life for years. Okay, this is after you know people had a better understanding of mental health and everything like that. You still chose not to come back. So are you really in a position to sit there and judge her or criticize her on, I don't know, anything? No? Cool. Now he does sit there and want to take responsibility, saying that if, he might have been there sooner, this, that, and the third could have happened. I'm just like, no, it couldn't have. It, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. It just, I've never really liked those scenarios. I get why people say them, but it was kind of pointless. Um, so they come to a mutual understanding. He asked questions about Tommy as far as did she see any signs? He was like no, but he was also dealing with PTSD. So there's that. Um, anyway, they got off on they left on good terms. So she still carried that with her. She still blamed herself for what Tommy and Sean, what Tommy tried to do to Sean and everything like that. And I'm like, part of me was just like, I get it because you did cheat on this man with somebody else, but at the same time, you didn't sit there and pull the trigger. You didn't sit there and tell Tommy to go after Sean. You didn't do any of that. So I don't know exactly how much weight does she have to put on her shoulders about that. Curtis asked Portia from proposed to her, and after a very long, drawn out um, explanation on Portia's part, I sat there and looked at my phone and was like, are you going to say yes? Like, we're going to get to the yes part? And of course, TJ was not there, recording the whole thing. I was like, man, she said yes, but it was like, oof. She would have said no. I mean, obviously, we had to delete that. I mean, there's no way. There's no way you can sit there and keep that. Like, you just got to scrub it. Anyway, she said yes. Everyone's happy. Jordan came in, found out, and she wished them the best of luck. And at first, Curtis was like, "Do you really mean that? Do you really mean?" Curtis, you vex me sometimes, bro. You really, really vex me. No, she just came over there and said it, and she totally didn't mean it because, anyway, I thought it was big of her. I thought it was big of her. You know, um, I would have totally understood if she was angry, annoyed, because if you sat there and you looked at their marriage, Curtis' marriage with Portia, I mean, Curtis' marriage with Jordan, in a lot of ways, it's like he couldn't wait to be done with Jordan. You could not wait to be, the minute that Portia got in town, he could not wait. Now I know people can sit there and be like, well, they were having problems before and yada, yada, yada. It was like, that's what, therapy's for. That's what counseling's for. That's what any one of those steps is for before you decide, no, I'm good. We're, we're done. Yeah, I got tired of your lies. I mean, there's certain lies I can sit there and understand about you being a cop, but at the same time, you didn't sit there and tell me about TJ and Blue. Kick rocks. Okay? Kick rocks. Um, Portia looking fine. Jordan looking fine. Like, anyway, she wished him well. Came back to TJ and talked about the conversation with Marshall and how she's happy for them. Now Curtis was asking a couple of questions like so because he kept sitting there thanking her for everything that she did, and it got to a point he was sitting there saying, "So about that elevator, do you want her to sit there and tell you stuff that she doesn't want to tell you that you probably shouldn't know? No, then why are we talking about it for?" Again, Curtis vexes me at times. When Sonny was sitting there talking to Ava, Nicholas, started getting at Sonny. It looked like they were about to sit there and go to blows. Um, so Ava took him out, and Sonny was sitting there talking to Olivia, and Olivia was acting all kind of shady about Nina and everything like that. And Sonny was like, can you just be happy for me? She's like, well, I could if it was any other person. Olivia, every single day that I see this character, I feel so disappointed. Okay, yesterday, she literally didn't do anything. Smith there poking around in Dante and Sam's relationship, making her little smart marks of, oh, you can go out there and give this to her. Unless it's just too fast, you don't want to sit there and seem like you're rushing. Oh, don't you own half of a hotel? You got a son, you got a husband, and yet you still got time to. Christ. When Olivia first came to town, I really liked her. Okay, she had her own stories, and it was great, you know. And hell, even when she was with Robert and they were, playing spy and everything like that, I was really liking her. Okay, and now it's just back to I don't know this woman coming in for a paycheck at this point. I have no idea. Um, well, I can be happy for you if it's anyone else. Saying you're not going to be happy for him. Great, congratulations. That's fantastic. It's like just say no and move on. Oh, and then the rest of this episode just got to a point where it was just vapid and stupid and like the whole thing with Chase and Brooklyn and Carly and Drew. And I know that Carly and Drew gets a lot of smoke from people. He's a waste of time. He's a waste of space. They prefer the old Drew. So on, so on, so on, so on, so on. Okay, that's fine. I like Cameron as Drew. Um, I just don't feel like his story was really popping, wasn't really hitting. Excuse me, since the whole Peter thing. Since the whole Peter thing, it has not been hitting. And it's like, all right, they're gonna sit there and pair him up with Carly because why not? Okay, sure. Um, Chase and Brooklyn doing their little flirting off and on, off and on. Leo sitting there making a love potion because that's what that idiot yesterday was sitting there talking about. And by idiot, I mean Olivia. Um, But somehow the drinks got mixed around, and towards the end, we don't know who got the love potion and who didn't. And apparently, but love potion in there. But I'm pretty sure there's probably some sort of ingredient that can kind of make people tell the truth or whatever. Hopefully, I guess. And that's what I mean by when I said that this episode was a mixed bag. Tomorrow's episode do seem like it's going to be a little bit better. There's things they need to work on. There's some serious things that they need to work on. And I don't know. I don't know. And yeah, again, it amazes me sometimes because every once in a while, episodes like this happens, and I'll go to Brock TV. Sometimes I'll go to Brock TV before I start doing my review. Every now and then, Because sometimes I'm just looking at this episode like, what in the hell am I going to sit there and say about it? And he'll sit there and start his review, and he'll just, just going through it, whatever. And I'm just like, bro, did we just watch the same Okay. Well, this is going to be a tough one. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it, at least the important stuff. Oh, yeah, and Sam Dante was in it for a little bit. They didn't really do much. Um, Sam came into the room and then just, like, quickly left. Like, I don't know, like she was upset or something was bothering her. I have no idea. At this point, I don't even care. I really don't care. The thing that always bothers me about these episodes, because I watch all four every now and then I always sit there and try to watch some Y&R because it's different and at the very least it could be somewhat interesting because it's different change of pace. So I watch all four, right? And I love GH. Okay, I've been watching it since high school. I only started watching Days recently, about like maybe 2.5 years ago or a year and a half ago. Time flies. And even yesterday, I actually watched Days first. Should have watched it. I should have watched it last. Um, But I watched it first, and then I watched GH, and I was just like, why? Why are you doing this? You have, I would sit and consider it just an amazing cast, amazing set of characters. Okay? You have all the components to make this show work. You have Disney money. It felt like 2 days of filler, but a little bit of sprinkle storyline in there. But for the most part, filler. I mean, did anyone really give a damn about the three-legged race? Oh, Chase fell on Brooklyn, and then he was like, "Oh, I need something cold." Like, anyone really care about that? I mean, if you did, that's fine. But like, it amazes me. It truly amazes me. It amazes me for so many different reasons. Because I don't know if I mean, I'm assuming that GH is the most popular one because when I look at my numbers, GH is always higher than my days. Back in the day, it used to be kind of reversed, but and then I watch Days, and I'm just like, did I miss something? Like, what? What are you doing over there that you guys aren't doing over here? Well, anyway, before I get even more angrier, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see everyone in the next video.